Hi everyone. So I'm back. I was gonna make a video last weekend, I think, but the recorder on YouTube wouldn't work, so I didn't, and so it was just gonna be a book review. So I'll do it another day. But today I was watching like different surgery videos and about people's recovery and I realized, like, everybody has their own story if you've been through, like, a big surgery, like, not just having your tonsils taken out when you're younger, but something relatively bigger. So, I wanted to tell you guys, my story. So, yeah. So, I had, I think it's called a double whammy, or it's called something with a weird name, but when I was younger, or let's just start from when I was younger, I guess. Um, so when I was younger, my knees looked like this. I made a visual. Yes, I'm weird like that. Kind of like that. Oh, this is the feet. This is the feet, and the feet would go in, and my knees would go in. I mean, my ankle. Wait, did I draw that wrong? Actually, my ankles would go out. I'm sorry. I drew it wrong. Because I got surgery to fix it. But, so, where's marker? Sorry. Wait. So, my ankles would go out. I think it was like that. Wait. Okay. So, they went out like, they each went like out. So, here's the legs, and then the ankles would go out like that. Like, towards the, yeah, other thing. So, as I was saying, so when I was 2 years old, well, I didn't start walking till I was a year and a half. And my mom, after being a book freak and like reading all these different books and saying that it was kind of late, she took me to the doctor when I was 2 years old because I was starting to have trouble like climbing steps. More bigger trouble than my cousin, who's like a year younger than me, I think. Yeah, and maybe a year and a half. I don't know exactly. But so yeah, so she took me to the doctor when I was 2 years old, and they said it's probably um delay, like develop. It's just delay in her growing. So my mom kept taking me back to doctors, not really liking the answer until I was about 6. I got some physical therapy, but nobody ever told me what was wrong or saw it or show my parents. So we kind of just dropped it when I was about 6 or so because it was just too much money sending me to the doctors. Nobody was telling me anything different. So yeah. So until I was in 6th grade, my teacher brought something up to my mom that I kind of ran weird. Once when I was 5th grade, maybe, I was called a duck because my feet went out like this. And I just ran like that. And so my feet went out, each went out, and I kind of ran like that. So finally, my mom was like, fine, I'll do it one more time. So, wait, first, and so she sent me to this other doctor, and he was like a really good, like surgeon, and like, so they did the regular thing is if you have ever had leg problems, what they do is they put you in a gown, and then they have you walk. They have you walk down the hall and run and skip and do a bunch of these weird things that you think are weird. But so I remember doing this, and I was 12 at this point. Um, so they had me do a couple of things, and like within like probably a couple laps, like 3 laps, I would guess, he was like, "Stop, stop where you are," and he basically told me what I had. It was called Misrable Malalignment Syndrome, and it's basically what I have, or what I had. So he told me there was a surgery I could get. I could get each leg one at a time, or I could get the right first since it was worse than the left, and just do them both together, or whatever I wanted. So we didn't want to make any decisions, obviously, that day. So I went home and I basically cried. I did not like, I did not really want to be different. At that point, I hadn't embraced my difference in my personality and stuff. So, yeah, I didn't want to be different. I didn't want this. I wanted to be normal. So I cried. And then this happened something. I was like, because apparently my knees were supposed to be hurting. Well, I did not feel my knees hurting, so I must not have this. So I made up this journal to prove to him that that I basically wasn't hurting at all. It was called my Hurts journal. I still have it somewhere. But so I made it, and as soon as I made it and I started logging down things, I realized my knees hurt a lot. That I thought normal people's knees hurt all the time. You know, if you feel this way for your whole life, then you just think it's automatically everybody else. So yeah, so I told my mom. So when I was 14, we decided to take me back in and tell him, and maybe set up a surgery. And by this time I had 2 years to think about it. I was kind of ready, and so yeah. No, I was 13. Yeah, I was 13 when we went back. So then we talked to him. He was like, he looked through my journal. He saw, he was like, oh yeah, this makes sense. And so he showed me some pictures of some kids who have had the same surgery. And that pretty much freaked me out. I was like, oh my gosh, these people are in wheelchairs and casts. And he said if I did one leg at a time, I wouldn't have to be on a wheelchair. So that's what we decided to do. We decided to do the the right leg first, and then the left leg, if I wanted to. So he told me what would happen. Basically what happened was in my ankle they put a nut here, so a nut here to fix the ankle part. And then to fix the knee part, they put 3 more scars right here. Yes, that totals to 4 scars. One tiny one at the knee, and I don't know if they knew the size at the time, but I obviously do now. One tiny one at the knee, one like just like the beginning of my hip, and one like all the way up to my underwear. Sorry if that's TMI, but yeah. So they put 4 scars right there, and so they put 4 scars right there. So he told me what he was gonna do, but I was kind of blocked out. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I'm having surgery. And so then we said we wanted it as soon as possible, obviously. So he said, so we scheduled one for April since that was the soonest there was. But then a couple weeks later, he said that there was an opening, or a couple of months, I don't remember when we scheduled it, but he basically said there was an opening for December right before Christmas that somebody had canceled and that we could take it. And so we obviously did, and I loved it because at that time because it was just so I wouldn't have to take as many time off from school because I was in 8th grade at that time, or the time that I had my surgery, and so yeah, it would be awesome. So so what we did was my surgery was scheduled for like really early. I remember I had to wake up like at 5 a.m. So I think it was like at 6 o'clock in the morning. So and it was like it was across the bridge, so it was like 30 minutes away maybe. So I had to wake up at 5. I remember getting out, being very drowsy slash scared slash it was just like, I don't remember, like, I don't really know how to explain it. I just remember being scared and just doing what people told me to. I woke up really early. My parents took me to the place. It was very very quiet. I remember so we did all like the money stuff. They put a wristband automatically on my wrist, and because I was going into the hospital, obviously. And then they took me to sit down, and so it felt like if I think it was about a half an hour that I waited in the waiting room with my mom and my dad, and Um, it was very nervous. I was very nervous at first because it was like, because in the car I kind of slept, so I didn't really have time to get nervous. But now I was like, I saw all these people, and even though it wasn't a lot, because it was like 6 a.m., but it was a lot to take in. So then, um, they, so then they came out, they called my name, they had me changed into the gown, and then they put me in this like awesome purple gown that had like a dog in it, and that came with these like purple dog socks. And I think for some reason they had to do it because like they kind of made me do it, even though it was awesome. They made me wear this purple gown. Oh yeah, and the purple gown had like holes all over it, and it was supposed to heat you up during your surgery. They told me, and so it was kind of cool. It was weird but cool. It was weird. So so after I had my gown on, they had me do this waiting room. And if you've ever been in a surgery waiting room, it was pretty awesome. It wasn't like just a regular like doctor's bench or whatever. It was a like sofa chair type thing, and I leaned back, and it was awesome. And so then they had me wait there. They I was petrified of needles, so I made them put the needle in after I was asleep. Um, so they they checked my blood pressure and all that. They gave me this warm blanket, which is really warm, especially since it was so early in the morning. It probably felt super good. And I also had my stuffed dog that I held. And then my doctor came in, which I knew very well. I still remember his name after these couple years. And he told me again what was happening. And the nurses were all very nice. And then what I thought was cool is he drew on my knee, and the knee that I was going to have worked on. But on my left knee, he put wrong leg because, like, they couldn't work on my left leg, obviously. So it wouldn't really matter, but still. And so they wrote on one of my legs, my right leg, and they left my left leg, and they put wrong on my left leg, or something stupid like that. That meant to tell the doctors they couldn't. Yeah. So then after I did after they wrote on it and they told him, he told me what he was gonna do. He um I basically walked into the operating room. For some reason, I didn't want to go on it. I don't know. I don't. I just remember I walked into the operating room, and it was a scene I'll never forget. I the hardest part was being my shortness and the operating table. They had me sit exactly where my surgery took place. So it was this high table, and I remember having such a hard trouble getting onto it, and it was just like a pain in the butt to climb up, and it was hard because it was high and I'm short, and so yeah. So then I think the last thing, so before they put the oxygen mask, the doctors were getting ready, not like sharpening their knives or anything that I could see, but they were putting music on to listen to while they were operating on me, which I found a little weird. And now that I watch Grey's Anatomy, I think, do all surgeons do that? But yeah, so they put the music on, they put like their mask on that they use so they don't get me sick or whatever. And then, oh yeah, and I don't think I could eat it all that morning either. Not that it really mattered because it was so early in the morning, but yeah. So they, so I remember the oxygen mask and getting on my face, and they they told me to count backwards from like 5 or 10 or whatever, and that thing stank. Like I I had heard stories of it smelling like gas, but that was not gas. That was something completely gross and different that I had to swallow. And I just remember thinking my last thoughts were, "Oh my gosh, you said this would take really quick, and it's taking very slow, and I don't want to breathe this stuff in anymore because you have to breathe it in for it to work." And yeah. So then the first memory I remember when I woke back up was that I was pretty much incredibly thirsty because of the anesthesia that made me fall asleep. Oh yeah, and the surgery was 4 hours long. And and my leg very much hurt, and somebody was taking x-rays of my leg. Like they were, because I took a lot of x-rays of my legs before, obviously before the surgery. But yeah, they took my leg and they were like doing it in awkward positions, and that's not, you don't want to be in awkward positions right after your surgery. Even if you don't feel pain, you still don't want to be in awkward positions. And they, so I wasn't very happy. Not very happy, but I just wanted my mom basically. 14-year-old girl right after surgery, I wanted my mom. And so I guess I was in the recovery room at that point, so my mom still wasn't allowed in, but they let her in, and she saw me, and I remember that was like the best few seconds of that day, seeing my mom. And they, so, so they couldn't give me anything to, did they give me anything to drink? Yeah, I think they did. Um, yeah, at that point they could. So they gave me stuff to drink, and then I dozed on and like in and out a little bit while they finished the X-rays, and then I could go into the other room, to the inpatient or whatever it's called, the hospital room that everybody goes to after while they wait. Because I had to stay overnight for 2 days, so I was there for a total of 3 days. Kind of like a person who gives birth. Think about it, but yeah. And the funniest thing that cracks me up now, sorry, I'm kind of jumping all over the place. But the funniest thing that cracks me up now is I was so worried I would be bored those 3 days. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be staying in the hospital. I'm going to be bored to death. I brought a lot of games. I didn't use any of those games. I bought a Rubik's Cube. Never used that until after the surgery. I mean, way after the surgery, like a week after the surgery. When I was already home. It was crazy. So if you're gonna have surgery or stay in the hospital, especially surgery, don't be worried about being bored. Be worried about being in pain. So I got to the room. I supposedly I lost a lot of blood, more blood than they thought they would. Probably not a dangerous amount because I was fine, but yeah, an amount that was an amount. So, after I got there for the next 2 days, I was battling this medicine thing. So this medicine that they were giving me did not work with my body. It didn't make me throw up. No, it didn't work. It didn't make my body feel better, and I know that because if you know anything about medicines, then there's like families of medicine. They basically do the same thing, but they act different to different people's bodies. That's why there's so many different kinds of medicine, so you can pick and choose if one medicine doesn't work with your body. Well, the doctors didn't really want to pick and choose. They just wanted to stick with this one awesome medicine. Well, I didn't really give them enough time to pick and choose, I guess. But yeah, so it was very annoying because they told me to press this red button whenever I was in pain, and it would shoot like medicine up my arm, because by then I already had the thing up in my arm. And I remember always pressing that red button when I was in pain. Nothing would work. Never. And so I remember pressing that, but it barely worked at all. It worked maybe as much as like 5 Advil would. It felt like it because um basically they sawed my bones in half. They broke them. So very much pain. So so in between there the doctor wrapped it up, but healed I think I healed pretty good. I mean, obviously my scars were pink and stuff, but yeah. So when I got home, I was told that I would have to use a walker. I was not happy about that walker. Rocker, I don't even think I have that walker anymore, but that walker and I were enemies. We hated each other. And so but I had to obviously use crutches. So I tried to get on those crutches that first day. Like I walked out of the hospital, I think, on those crutches, maybe. But yeah. So no, not on the crutches, in the wheelchair, obviously. But I mean, I remember walking inside my house, convincing my mom that I could use the crutches, and then practically falling when I got in my house from the crutches. Yeah. So enough personal stuff. So basically, I got home, I recovered. I was stubborn me, but as in on Christmas Day, I would walk around on my crutches when I probably should have been sitting down. Didn't really give any severe consequences except me having my leg hurt maybe more. So yeah. So the only one complication I had really was my foot. I don't really want to show you my foot because some people have foot issues, I guess. But basically, first my toe was like a big hitchhiker's thumb on the toe. You know how hitchhiker's thumbs are like very curved up? Like this is not a hitchhiker thumb. I don't have one. But if mine were to be curved more that, it would be one. And so basically my toe was a hitchhiker toe and it was just shaped all weirdly, and then the bottom of my foot to this day, like the part that you walk on, I can always tell when I'm it's weird because it's very sensitive. Like if my mom rubs it too long or whatever, it like really kind of hurts. So yeah, so that was really the one complication I had. And but my scars are fine now, and I'll show you some of them. The ones that I can show you. This is the one that I show everybody when I tell them about my surgery because it's the most accessible. And this is just my foot. My toe is pretty much healed because, believe it or not, yoga really helped. Because I didn't really have as much physical therapy as I could. So I started doing yoga for PE, I guess, just because I couldn't do regular PE. And oh my gosh, it helped tremendously. Something about it really helped. But yeah. Here's my scar right here. And then I have one on my knee, right? It's right here. You guys can't probably see it because it's like it's the tiniest scar ever. If you can, it's right here. Oh, see this little thing? That's my scar. So, and then then on my thigh, I have one more right here. I have like one more right here and one more right here. So yeah, that was almost 4 years ago, I guess, close to 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, and I am doing better. I'm still on the fence about whether to get my second surgery or not. I would really like to. Once I don't know. So yeah, that's really it. I'm sorry this video was so long. There's just so much to the surgery. And if you have any questions that for some reason I didn't cover it, then just ask me, and I'll either comment or do a video response or whatever. So yeah, so I had miserable malalignment, and I'm not sure if it's still called that since it's only one leg now. But yeah, let me show you my different knees to show you just the difference. Okay. Okay. So this one is my right. This one is the one I got my surgery on. And this one is my left. And this one's my left. And you can kind of see if I just go like this to my knees. You can't actually. But like if I just go like this, like through to my legs, that this bumps more than this. Like this just stays straight. This is my right one, and this just lays straight like it's supposed to. But this, it wants to lean, and that's because of the bumps. So yeah, see you guys later. Bye.